everyone, Alexa Donne here, and today I thought I would do a reaction to my 2020 goals, because I was literally like, wait, did I make a 2020 goals video? That's how 2020 this year is. I literally did not remember. I checked my own feed and was like, yeah, you did. So I don't remember anything I said, and I thought it'd be really interesting to reflect, especially given how this year kind of went off the rails in every conceivable way for pretty much everyone. What were my goals? What actually happened this year? And this is good for me thinking about 2021 goals, because I was like, I should probably think about those. So let's see what I said. Hello everyone, Alexa Donne here, and today I am going to be going over my 2020 writerly goals. I did this video last year as well for my 2019 goals, and I actually recently watched that back for the first time in a year, and I filmed my reaction and reflections on that, which should already be up, and that went a little long, so I decided to separate out my 2020 goals and just do them in a separate video. So here we are. If you haven't watched the 2019 reflection video, long story short, I actually did really well. I hit more or less every single goal I set for myself, though I was a little generous with myself. And I have to pause to say that I like my eye makeup. Sometimes I watch old videos and I'm like, ooh, but this one I'm like, what palette is that from? I need to like think back to what I was using, because like, it's nice.
And I'll say my goals this year are a lot more specific, partly because I realized last year that I could accomplish these things that I set out for myself. So I'm really energized and excited going into 2020 for many reasons. Last year I met the challenge of writing my first YA thriller, and I sold that book. So I also have kind of new career projections ahead of me that definitely are influencing some of the goals and things that I want to accomplish this year. So to that end, my first goal is to edit The Ivies. That is my YA thriller that's going to be coming out in early-ish 2021, which means I'm going to be doing the editing on that in early 2020. I'm going to be getting that edit letter any day now in the new year. I don't know what my deadline's going to be for developmental edits, but whatever it is, I want to finish those developmental edits. I really want to make this book shine. Like, that is a specific goal that I have. I'm very proud of the book that it is, and I sold it, but there's work I want to do. I had really good conversations with my editor about some of her thoughts of strengthening it, and I'm excited to do that work. There's character work I think I can really work on, and I'm going to be massaging the ending. I wanted to sing for you guys. I want to make it as good as possible. And then that is going to give me good footing going into goal number 2, which
massaging the ending. This is the me that hadn't actually done it yet. Yes, but also like literally rewriting it 3 times. The ending ended up causing me, I won't say problems. I loved the ending. I loved the process of rewriting the ending because it was really challenging. I had to push myself. I can't wait to see what you guys think of it, because I think some people are going to love it, and honestly I think some people are going to hate it. It's going to be really interesting, but I feel like it's a very like thoughtful grown-up ending, or at least that's my intention for it. It's going to be really interesting. It's not a typical YA ending. And yes, past me, all this is true, though gonna get my edit letter any day now. Yeah, it was like probably a month and a half after I filmed this. And editing The Ivies was quite a process. It got really intense, and it actually ended up occupying the majority of my year. I started dev edits in February when I got them, but then the world imploded. I needed a couple of deadline extensions. My editor was so gracious giving them to me. We had a process for line and copy. Like, they're very detail oriented at Penguin Random House. I've come to find out at Crowns specifically, in the best possible way. Like, they catch me on so much stuff. And then past pages were really intense. Like, whew. But I think I accomplished this. I mean, I accomplished the literal goal. Obviously, I edited the book. I had no choice. That was like a easy goal, low bar goal. But I do think I accomplished the other half of that goal. I'm really proud of it. I'm even more proud of it now that I went through what was honestly a really tricky revision. It was intense. It was stressful. I did a lot of work. Oh, I've talked about it before in other videos. You'll have to like kind of see, and when I can finally talk about spoilers, I'll be able to like really dig into it. But I'm really proud of it, and I really hope people like it. And now, a full year after I filmed this video, people are finally able to read it because the arc is finally out in the world. Like, let's see what goal number 2 is.
Which is to write another one. So I started a second thriller in August of 2019. It is what I would hope to be my option book, what I would propose to sell to my publisher next. I think it's really strong. It's actually more plotted in many ways than the Ivy's was when I started it, because I've learned this new writing process for thrillers that I have, which is I start backwards. I start with the motive of the killer and I work backwards from that. And for this particular book, well, I start with a motive and a twist, and I really like the twist for this one, and I'm very excited to write it. I feel that same excitement that I felt for the Ivy's. So it is a goal for me to dive into that. I don't know as of now whether that would be submitted on proposal to my publisher or if I would write the whole thing. Either way, it needs more development. I have about 12K of it, but I already know what I want to fix of what I already have, and I want to hopefully push it much further to the break into 2, into the second act. I have probably half of Act 1 done. Essentially, I really want to get to the murder. Murder is the fun part. This is why we write them. But that is a goal for me. I don't know how long it's going to take to finish the Ivy's. Let's say that's Q1, so like that'll probably take me through March. And then I would like to start on this next one and have something really solid by the summer.
Okay, mixed bag here. My goal for 2020 is still to get to the murder. I haven't. I did accomplish a large majority of that goal. It was at 12K when I filmed this. I got it to about 30K, and that is what I turned into my publisher for my option. But I didn't get to the murder. I just couldn't push myself to the break into 2 because there was still so much to do with the Ivy's, and just, I mean, everything's on fire. My day job got very busy, and I had a chat with my agent. And I said, basically, do you think this is okay? 30K is above and beyond what you need to submit for a proposal, by the way. And so I did end up sending a proposal. I didn't write the whole book in 2020, but I went from 12K to 30K. My agent read it. She felt, especially alongside a synopsis, I wrote a synopsis for the entire book. It is truly way more plotted than the Ivy's was because I had to literally tell my editor what the plot was. But as always, like, Act 2 is the murkiest because that's, like, the funnest part for me to discovery write. Yeah, my agent felt she would just, like, explain to her. I mean, editors understand. Like, usually they only get 3 chapters for a proposal, and I gave her 30,000 words, which was over 100 pages, so more than she would typically get. So my agent just explained, hey, work in progress. But it actually remains my goal to get to the murder, to get to the break into 2 before the end of 2020, and I plan on doing that this week. We'll see if that happens, but like I do still want to accomplish that goal because it really will put me in an excellent position for forging forward. I'm going to have to write at least 60K more in the book, and I also know realistically, I mean, this is going to go into my 2021 goals actually. Not 30K I already know I'm going to term it for pacing, but I technically met this goal. It's with my publisher, so...
And both of these things, working on these projects, feeds into my third goal. This is, honestly, it's a good goal to have because it's like I want to do fun, productive things. This past year in 2019, I went on 2 writing retreats, and I kind of wish I'd set that as a goal last year because it had kind of been one in my head. I went on my first retreat in 2017, and then I didn't go on one in 2018.
Past me talking so wistfully about going places in 2020. I think we know how this one went.
So I did purposely set out to do them in 2019. One I planned, the second came as a surprise that I was invited to, but both of them were really, really helpful for me. They were great for my productivity. They were great for connecting with other writers. The second one especially, there was just something so magical about connecting with other working writers and seeing how kind of just nose to the grindstone and professional and chill they were about everything that really inspired me to just take a deep breath and write the damn book. It was a really nice feeling, and that is where I did so much good development on that second thriller at that second writing retreat. So my goal in 2020 is to go on at least 1 writing retreat, whether I plan it or get invited to one, but if I can, I'd like to go on 2.
2020 would like to object. So clearly I did not meet this goal. This goal was impossible to meet in 2020. Yeah.
I have a pretty good streak now of writing approximately 10,000 words on each writing retreat I go on, and 10,000 words of any project would be really, really good. But I can also use a retreat for editing, so it kind of depends on the timing. But yes, I would like to get together with other writers on writing retreats once or twice this year. Another goal I have that relates to my many projects is for Author Mentor Match. This is the author mentorship program that I run, and I've already been working toward this goal in 2019, but it is going to straddle into 2020, and that is and has been expanding Author Mentor Match into adult and recruiting good mentors and having a really solid next round. And that's going to take place in February. I don't know if it was smart or stupid planning the next round of Author Mentor Match around the time that my second book is launching, but c'est la vie. So it's just a goal to have that go well. I have really great support from my mod team, but ultimately I know a lot of it falls on me. So part one of my goals is just to have that go as smoothly as possible so we can establish a new precedent that we cover kid lit and select adult genres. My next goal.
Yeah, I guess low-hanging fruit. I already knew I was doing Author Mentor Match. It went really well. I was honestly overwhelmed with the adult submissions that we got. Like, really good submissions in large volume. And so the next round is in a couple of weeks. I greatly expanded. We have, I think, twice as many adult mentors this time. I really recruited for that. So, like, thumbs up. I feel really solid about where Author Mentor Match is, where it's going. Yeah. Go me. Having it at the same time as when my book launched wasn't smart, but really February was just like a shit show, period. So, well, yeah. I launched a book, got my edit letter, ran AMM all at the same time, and then COVID happened. So, yeah.
Has to do with this YouTube channel. I set a goal for my YouTube channel last year and that worked out well. Honestly, it's boring. My goal this year is very similar to last year's goal, which is to remain consistent. But I'm gonna add to that, a goal for me with the channel this year is to really hone in on the content I enjoy making. I really discovered some new loves this year with the channel. I really love making bookish content, which if you told me that 2 years ago, like literally 2 years ago, I was like, I really don't want to have booktube content on my AuthorTube channel. And now they are some of my favorite videos to make. So I want to further explore the content that I really enjoy because we're almost to year 3 of this channel. Can you believe that? I'm going to hit my 3-year anniversary in June of 2020. And so I need to explore this year what this means. What does it mean going forward? I think it's dangerous to set subscriber goals because it's all up to the YouTube gods, but I would like to hopefully continue to grow, to reach more people, because my aim overall, honestly, is to get this information about traditional publishing, mostly, into the hands of the people who need it. So I hope to continue to post consistently, to explore content that I really enjoy making, and to reach more people.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically. I mean, sometimes to my detriment. I followed the goal. I don't regret the goal. But part of the flip side of honing in on the content that you actually enjoy making, sometimes that means that content gets fewer views. And I've just accepted. I mean, I had accepted it by this point when I set the goal. But like, I love doing book reviews. I love that content. I genuinely enjoy it. And it's just not as popular on my channel as a bunch of other things. Actually, I didn't know this at the time that I made the goals video. I have come to enjoy live streams because I realized, because prior to this video, I think I'd really only done them by myself. I like live streams with other people, though I've also gotten better at doing them myself. And I'm glad that I pushed myself this year to try different formats. Also, just, you know, I haven't been posting. I mean, still been posting consistently, but I haven't been posting as much toward the end of the year because everything's on fire, and I gave myself that grace. And yeah, and the channel continues to grow. I'm gonna hit 100K soon, which is so, yeah. Honestly, I was really generous with myself with these goals. I feel like these are all things that we're chugging along. see what's next.
And last but certainly not least, I have a slightly nebulous goal, which is to explore some adult thriller ideas. I kind of came up with some in this last year, in 2019, but they're very early. And generally for me, the life cycle of something is I tend to percolate for, it can be as much as 2 to 3 years, but at least, honestly, 6 months to a year, I need an idea to kind of percolate. Even with the Ivies, for several years, I knew I wanted to write a book that had college admissions in it. It just was the thriller part that didn't come together till last November, and then I took about 8 weeks to really develop it before I started writing. So I have 2 pretty solid adult thriller ideas. Again, working backwards, I have a twist/motive. Actually, one of them I have a twist/motive, and the other one I just have an incredibly high concept, but it's a high concept that I'm very excited about. And I was developing it a bit this month, and in 2020, I want to further develop both of them because I want to write one of them probably in 2021. So that's something that I'd just like to work on this year, because a long-term goal for me is definitely to have a finger in both pies. I love adult thrillers too much to never write one. And I'm excited about my 2 ideas. I'm like, ooh, I can't believe someone hasn't done this. And maybe I just jinxed myself by saying that. But regardless, I am excited about these ideas that I have, and I definitely want to develop them. I don't know if that's going to mean starting writing, but at the least, I want to flesh out. So let's say for the one that I have a twist/motive for, I want to flesh out Act 1 now. I know essentially what's going to happen in Act 3. I don't know the climactic set piece, so maybe I want to work on that. But I would want to think about inciting incident and like how I might do the setup. Because for me, once a picture like clicks into place, literally a mental image usually, of the first
preservation of style. It's really about appreciating and celebrating these old world things.
Scene, I can write a book. And so even with the YA thriller, the one that I am going to work on this year, until this summer, I didn't know how to start the book. And then one day it just came to me. So essentially, I'm hoping to have similar brainstorming and brainwaves for either one of my adult thrillers, and I want to get started on one or both of them either in 2020 or get myself set up to do that in 2021. I also have
That didn't happen. As mentioned, the Ivies took longer to edit. I worked on the other YA thriller for my proposal, and I just didn't end up having the serious brain space to work on the adult thrillers. I mean, one of them I developed a tiny bit because it's actually something I would be co-writing with a friend, so I did a little bit on that. The other one, I'm still not sure how to execute it. So I basically, I technically didn't meet this goal, but I always knew that I wouldn't seriously work on either of them until 2021. And so I'm going to talk about that more in the 2021 video. So yeah, it's fine.
a bunch of personal goals, but I'm going to keep this to mostly writerly and YouTube goals because don't want to get too personal, especially I feel like I can accomplish writerly goals. I feel like writerly goals are things that I can say that I'm going to do, professional goals, and I can hit them. I think personal goals are a little more nebulous. I'm a little more nervous about accomplishing some of the personal goals that I've set for myself in 2020. So I'm going to leave you there with my writerly goals for 2020. I feel great going into 2020. I think all of these are attainable. And honestly, even if I accomplish a fraction of them, I'm gonna have a really good year. I mean, I have to edit the Ivies no matter what. It's a goal, but it's also literally a requirement. I have to edit it in 2020. The rest are a lot more optional, but things that I'm really looking forward to doing.
Hey, that wasn't bad. I am actually a little surprised. There's some things that I thought maybe I had included in there that I didn't, so I guess I've had a couple of bonus accomplishments that I'll talk about in another video. Yeah. I accomplished my 2020 goals. Except, I mean, I accomplished the ones that I was capable of accomplishing given the grease fire of this year. So, I mean, because I finished one book. Like, The Ivies has been put to bed. It's like, it's happening. It's coming out May 25th, 2021. And I made enough progress in the other one, which doesn't have a name. I call it my murder turducken. So we're going to call it my murder turducken. There's like a lot of murder in it. A murder within a murder within a murder. I'm happy with that progress. I didn't set it as a goal, but actually, like, I had like a big brainwave moment in the summer when I was sitting down to work on it. Something that when I was making those goals, I didn't realize was something I hadn't figured out yet that was quite critical to writing the book. And I had those brainwaves this year. Like, I really worked out kind of the linchpin of the book, of the earlier part of the book, and I'm really excited about it. I'm energized but scared to jump in to finish it, because Act 1's the easy part. Act 2 is gonna be so hard to pull off. I have set myself quite a challenge with this next book, but we are going to cover that in a 2021 goals video. So this is fun, reacting to my 2020 goals. I want to know about you guys. Like, did you go back and look at your 2020 goals? How did you do? I feel like 2020 did everything in its power to kind of mess with all of us. That writer's retreat one is quite funny, and 2020 rages on. I don't even think I can realistically set a goal like that for 2021 without risking it not happening either. I still would love to go to a writing retreat because I miss people. But yeah, that was 2020. Book-wise, it was okay for me, even though everything else was basically garbage, generally speaking. I did not have the worst 2020 of many people I know, and that's a blessing in and of itself. It enables me to be better emotional supports for those friends who had it's 2020. You turn around and you're like, really? 2020. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. I'll try to be creative and maybe react to other kinds of videos. If there are other videos that you would like to see me react to, let me know down below in the comments. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Happy writing. We made it through 2020. Yay. And happy 2021.